Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. I'm at my old stomping ground and that stairwell project. Again, I don't work here full time anymore, so I'm not really finishing out this whole project. So I'm not going to do videos in that series anymore, but they did hire me to come back and take care of these headers and put in the drop ceilings, the lights, all those things. So today though, I'm going to talk about my new tool, my 7 1/4 M18 miter saw. This is the first job I've got it out on. Decided I'm gonna go over the features of that. Let me go ahead and flip around the camera here. So yeah, I'm gonna go over the features of the saw, give you my first impression of it. Again, today's the first day that I put it to use. I've already built this header, so I've used it. This isn't like, as I'm talking about it, it's not as if I've not used it, but I've only used it a little bit. Long term, again, if you haven't watched the videos, this ceiling will come out as well, but also all that duct work. So I can't really, it doesn't make sense to put a new ceiling in here knowing you're going to tear it all out to get that out. So instead, they decided they wanted to go ahead and build another header here. I did that this morning. I've got that capped off. And again, the ceiling height's going to be just a little bit into this, so that's why I don't have to finish it the whole way up. This header is going to look just like that one on this side, and then this side I'm going to go up a little more so that I can catch this one, and so on and so on. So looking at the features of this saw, again, some of the reasons why I bought this was, one is the size of it. It weighs 28 pounds. It's really compact. It's really light. Mine weighs a little more because I got my brackets for my stand on there. I'll probably end up through bolting some bolts through my stand so that I can take this saw on and off of these a lot easier, because there's going to be a lot of times where I don't need this stand. So the size and the weight, key reason why I bought this. Then the next reason why is because it takes these 7 1/4 saw blades. If you price those versus a 12 or a 10, much cheaper. And on a sliding 7 1/4, I can cut up to 2x8s and things like that on it. So it's a just big time saver over the course of time, just to buy yourself cheap framing blades. And I always have 7 1/4 blades with me because I got my rear handle saw, so I can just swap back and forth between the two for framing, and then I can buy higher teeth count blades if I'm doing some trim work that it matters. I also was back and forth between this one and the DeWalt, because I have two friends that have the DeWalt. I've used it, it works great, but I thought I can just buy me a battery adapter, use the DeWalt, but to where the DeWalt battery goes in, if I put a battery adapter, there wasn't enough room to also add a battery. So that's why I decided to go with the Milwaukee. Plus, it's just I already have the Milwaukee tools. I just went ahead and spent a little bit more money. I'm really glad I did, because there's a few features on this that I think are really, really great. One is that it has dual bevel, so you can just turn this knob in the back. It bevels both directions. There's this knob loosens it, and then there's also another pull back here that you pull out, and then that lets you bevel back the other way. The DeWalt saw was only bevel one direction, which you can get by with, but it's just nicer if you can go both ways. That way, if you need it, you have it. The detents on this are really good. They lock into place well. It's also very easy to adjust them if you need to. You just loosen these screws and move your plate if you find it out of alignment. Although, in all honesty, mine's been pretty nice. Again, I haven't cut a whole lot with it, but as I checked it with my speed square, and I'm only cutting small stuff, it's been working out well right out the box. Didn't have to make any adjustments on it at all. And then the number one feature of what I really wanted to buy this for is this shadow line. You have this button here. You press, it turns the light on, and you can see that line of that saw blade as you get closer, and you can even see the teeth. So I know exactly what's getting cut out of this material. So I can have my little mark on the saw wherever I want to, which again, with the slider, the bonus is you can move that tooth to wherever your mark is. You don't have to draw a whole entire cut line with it, like what you might have to do with the chop saw. But where that really comes into play is if I'm cutting casing or something, and I'm cutting a miter, whichever side my tick mark is on, I can basically line that shadow line up right with that tick mark, and it's never needs to be calibrated. It's going off the blade. You change to a different blade, it's going to work with that blade. You know, it's just going to be, that's a great feature. I haven't had a saw with a shadow line. I really wanted one, and as soon as I saw this one had it, that's what I wanted. The DeWalt has it as well, although I think this one's a little bit more pronounced. I can see this one better than what I could on my friends. So, but the DeWalt does have it if you're looking for that. The two things that I've noticed that I'm not crazy about, and again, I knew it because I read it in the reviews, dust collection. I've only made about 15 cuts. This bag isn't, you know, a lot of this is, you know, extra dust that's just out here, and not a lot of it in my bag. So I'm not real sure how well this really actually works, but how well does it work on any saw? It doesn't work very well, in my opinion, on any saw that I've ever had. So if you're cutting indoors and dust matters, you might want to make sure you hook up dust collection. This is not a finished space. It's got hard floors, so I'm just going to vacuum it up when I get done. I didn't want to mess with using a vacuum. And then the one thing that I'm not crazy about, and I don't know if you can hear it, but you won't be able to feel it either. It's more of a feel. This seems extremely kind of rough. But again, I've heard that on a couple different reviews, so I guess it's probably normal, but it doesn't slide nearly as effortlessly as any of my other miter saws that are sliders ever have. It just doesn't feel real smooth. It's not bad, it just doesn't feel smooth. So let me know if you guys have this saw. What have you liked about it? What have you not liked about it? That way I'll know what I'm kind of looking forward to, because again, I've made about 15 cuts on this saw so far, and so far it's been good. But I'm gonna go ahead and put on the chest cam. I'll put it in action. We'll basically just cover this one the same as I have that one. Now this one's gonna get a bigger covering on this side than that one, but I'll show you it making some cuts, and we'll see how it works from there. Square off my cut on this side. We're gonna cut this 101 5/8. Again, I can see exactly where my cut is going to be, right on my mark. Now, let's check that with the square. Looks really good. You know, again, it's pretty well perfect. If I put on the bottom, you can see there's zero sticking out. So again, that's right out the box. I haven't adjusted anything on this. It was pretty true as far as for square. And again, I'm not cutting anything but straight cuts right now. You get into the miters and things, we'll be able to check it a little bit better. But so far, right out the box, it's been cutting pretty good. I also like the brake on this saw. I don't think I've had any other miter saw in my life that has the brake on it like that. And it pretty much still runs until the blade just stops. So I do like that. I think that's a nice feature as well. Now on this, I'm doing a 3/8 reveal. So I set my little Craig deal to 3/8. And I'm just gonna go down through here, make a few marks. That way I've got a line to go by as far as when I'm setting the reveal, so I don't have to sit there and try to hold a jig and my nail gun and everything all at the same time. The next side's getting a 1x6 and then a 1x4 on top of that to fill in the extra space instead of buying a 1x12 and cutting it down. I'll go 101 and a heavy 5/8 on this one. All right, guys, so there's the two headers capped off. And again, this side I got to fill in up here and then put a 1x4 on top of that to get me up at this height, but I'll do that off camera. All right, guys, got that filled in and got that 1x4 on. So now my ceiling will tie into that 1x4 and that will tie into this over here to get that ceiling height a little bit higher on this side. But again, that's my take and my first impression on this Milwaukee M18 7¼ saw. I know that I saw several reviews where some people asked, does it have a shadow line? Does it not? And I got answers both ways, but I did finally see one video, I think it was Finished Carpentry TV, where he actually showed the shadow line. So then that made me pull the trigger on this one, because that's the only reason really I was looking at the DeWalt, because I knew that it had it. Wasn't sure if this one did, because I really wanted that feature. But again, let me know in the comments below if you have the saw, what you think about it, especially if you've used it a lot longer than me. Again, I've only made like 30 cuts with it, so maybe later on down the road I might do a full-blown review on it if that's something that interests you guys. But I just wanted to give you my first take on it out of the box. It's cut and square. The light is phenomenal. Dust collection, and the slide is a little bit rougher than what I would like, but I mean, it still is not, it still runs smooth. It's just different. It's got a different feel to it than any other sliding saw that I've ever used. Maybe all the Milwaukees are that way. I'm not real sure, but let me know again if you've used this saw. Let me know what you do for a living and what size saw you have to have too. That might help people in the comments below who are looking to maybe buy their first saw. Maybe they can get away with a 7¼ and maybe they'll read in the description what you do. And if you say, I have to have a 10, I have to have a 12, that's helpful to people who watch videos and are looking for things like that. Again, I always read the comments of not just my videos, but other videos that I watch to kind of see what other people say about different products and things like that. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Hope it was helpful. Hope it was useful. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.